Hi, so today I'm going to be reading my journal, which as you can see is just a giant mess, but that's what my brain looks like 90% of the time. So let's take a little time machine trip back to the beginning of the semester. So here's my first entry, August 26th. Today was the first ever day of acting class. I've never actually taken a class that was just dedicated to acting, so I'm honestly really excited to be able to take time to refine my skills and learn more about myself as an actress. We talked a lot about keywords in acting, like stakes, drama, and truth. These are all words I've definitely heard before, but never really thought too much about. I'm not sure what to expect from this class. Sure, I would consider myself to be a performer more than a director or technician, but I still have a lot of performance anxiety and fear about putting myself out there. Everyone in the class seems really nice and smart and insightful, though, so I'm sure I can learn something from everyone in the room. That's my favorite part about theater, how collaborative it is. No one is ever really an individual, and that's why the stakes are so high. You have to learn how to trust the people around you to take good care of you, and the art itself. Take good care of you and the art itself. For next class, we have to film ourselves moving around in our studio space, which for me is just my corner of the dorm room, and record ourselves doing 4 different pieces of dialogue as 2 different characters, so I'm excited to try that out. And then I have notes from the next class. Breath is thought, breath is life. Without breath you die, you become stagnant. Breath is bringing something new into the body. For the Mad Libs assignment, record in 1 take. September 2nd. Watching myself perform almost sent me into a tailspin. I read somewhere that Meryl Streep never watches her own movies, and if it's good enough for Meryl, it's good enough for me. Like, I understand why we need to watch ourselves, but I hate it. Corey only showed like 4 videos today, and of course mine was one of them. Everyone had really great and constructive feedback, but it's just weird to stare yourself in the face and listen to your own voice when you're doing something as vulnerable as acting. Not to mention, I'm still shaking from singing in front of the class last week. I forgot. These are the reasons I can't be a professional performer, and honestly, that's okay with me. For next week, we're doing this cool Mad Libs assignment, and I'm excited to try my hand at the writing side of the process, since I've always loved that. Plus, it'll be cool to see some variation in the pieces, because everyone did the same text in the last assignments. We have to film in 1 take, which is scary, but also strangely freeing, because I don't have to spend hours trying desperately to decide which take I like best, which I did. Okay, this is observations from the Mad Lib assignments. So we were focusing on breath and mannerisms. Bridget put her hair behind her ears, her hands in her pocket. She moved naturally into most of the Mad Lib words, but moved unnaturally into the word toothpaste. Angel was switching characters. It felt unnatural. The first section didn't feel true or genuine. The second section also didn't feel true. The soap thing felt real. Maddie took a breath before. She had a lot of confidence. Loved the inflection change in favorite color. Breathing to center herself. The confidence thing feels really real. Oh, she used the word confidence. Natalia said so hard. That took a turn. Takes bold risks. I forgot she was the murderer in that one. Jonah didn't have a lot of pauses at the beginning. He had a break between the first 2 sections. The words didn't make sense in context. Eli added or changed words, which he would continue to do for the rest of the semester. Doesn't breathe, lol. Mariah, sitting at a desk, rocking back and forth, said the word kindness in an interesting way. Lynn put her hair behind her ears. She had a conscious reset at the beginning. I love the pause before she said the word triangle. Skylar didn't seem like her, but still felt genuine. Good breath control. For Morgan, no breaks or character changes. Alright, this is my entry for September 14th. I've been thinking a lot about breath this week. Corey said something a couple classes ago that was like, breath is life, without breath you die, which at first seems kind of cheesy, but then it sinks in like, whoa, if you don't breathe, you will literally drop dead. On that same topic, I don't think I breathed once in my Mad Libs video, which is especially weird because the pacing seems completely normal, and so does the phrasing. But if you watch and listen closely, I literally don't breathe once. I think it's a nervous habit of mine, the not breathing, I mean. Corey wants me to record it again for next class, but this time to focus on the breathing thing. So that's my big plans for tonight. Now that I think of it, everyone in my life has always told me that I talk too fast. Maybe a little more attention to breath could clear that one up. It's funny how watching yourself on tape makes It's funny how watching yourself on tape makes you notice weird little things you've probably been doing your whole life but never noticed. And I'm not breathing right now, I'm sure. Okay, September 23rd. Things I've learned. I am a terrible stalker. Sorry. For reference, and to keep me off FBI watch lists if anyone ever finds my acting journal, we're doing an assignment where we watch 2 people and an animal for at least 30 minutes and write down everything they do. So far, all of my people have noticed me because I am not sly at all. I'm going to move locations in a few minutes to hopefully get some better and less suspicious subjects. For next class, we're taking on the classic Robert Cohen Pledge of Allegiance exercise, which I've read about before but never actually done. We have to record ourselves saying there's an oath, a promise, a declaration, and a question. Currently, I'm wondering if an oath and a promise aren't the same thing, so I might have to think some more on that one, or maybe actually pull out a dictionary. I don't know. I actually need to successfully stalk some people before I can worry about the pledge. And then I have, oh, here it is. And then here's my observations for the first person. Person number 1, Caucasian male, light brown hair, facial hair. Playing Words with Friends on his phone. Left hand on face and fist. Scratched stomach. Checked Instagram. Holding phone with index fingers on the top, typing with thumbs. Drinking from a straw. Watching ESPN highlights. Put in headphones with wires. Put on disposable mask. Scratched head. Picked up stuff to leave. Throw away trash. This man definitely knew I was watching him, and he was very freaked out. And then my second person I had on my laptop, so I'm going to pull that one up. Okay, subject 2, Asian woman about 5'2", late 20s, maybe a grad student, playing with her dog on the south wall, sitting back on her heels on the grass, throws her head all the way back to laugh. Her voice is very high-pitched and almost musical sounding, very bouncy and breathy. Drinking iced coffee with a metal straw. Phone rings, seems to surprise her. Takes phone out of pocket. Answers phone. Conversation starts casual, then seems to become a little bit heated. She lets the dog off the leash to run around while she talks on the phone. Hangs up the phone. Puts the dog back on the leash. Goes over to sit on a bench near the south mall. Puts shoulder bag down and rifles through it for a while. Pulls out a book and starts reading it. Reads for a while, occasionally marking or highlighting in it. Tapping feet against each other. Appears very relaxed. Alright, this is September 30th. I have never hated the Pledge of Allegiance more. Today, for kicks, I volunteered to go in an attempt to put myself out there more. The exercise ended up being me and Morgan saying the Pledge of Allegiance line by line until Corey believed that we knew what we were saying. All the starting over got really frustrating, and it reminded me of a technique my middle school theater teacher used to use. She used to snap her fingers to make us say our lines faster until we got so frustrated she got an emotional response in our acting. Was it borderline manipulative? Sure. But she always got results. I don't know if that's what the goal of this exercise was, but that's what it reminded me of. After we both went individually, we did an exercise where Morgan and I popcorn lines of the pledge back and forth over and over. I never really thought that much about what the words meant, but it's kind of creepy how America indoctrinates this weird loyalty into their children. I don't think I'll ever be able to look at the pledge the same way again. No thanks to Mr. Cohen. This is October 7th. I am very confused by our new friends Polly and Buddy and everything they bring to the table. In our breakout room, Maddie and I were scouring the internet for any trace of this play and came up empty-handed, but Corey promised we haven't seen the last of that dynamic duo. I can hardly wait. We also watched our person observation videos this week. Everyone was so good, and I got so distracted by the acting in some that I forgot to take notes on what the people were doing. Eli and Natalia are always my favorites to watch. Something about them just captivates me. I would tell Eli I'd watch a version of The Truman Show that was him, but I think it would creep him out. I don't know why, but his mannerisms are just fascinating. Ever since we started this observation assignment, I find myself jotting things that people do down when I'm not paying attention. It's always weird and interesting, but I think it's a good habit for a writer and director, and especially for a teacher to have. So this is those notes from the observation. It's on Eli's. He was male, older probably, could also be a woman for the first person. Definitely male. And then I said, it's the sunglasses for me, because he was wearing sunglasses, I guess. And this is some notes on the Stanislavski method. The super objective is the actor's goal. What will the audience do after? The stage action, the struggle, why they don't do that, and the suspension of disbelief. And the honest emotional experience of the actor. Some more notes on the person observations. Mariah was adorable. I loved her actions. Morgan looked like a weird survivalist YouTuber. Maddie's was haunting. October 14th. I've never felt dumber than when my roommate walked in on me filming myself acting like a pigeon. She also ruined my best take, so I was pretty annoyed about that part too. Actually, no. I think I felt dumber sitting in a Zoom room watching my classmates watch me act like a pigeon. I've always had a hard time taking things seriously, and this assignment almost broke my brain. It was so hard not to just laugh at how uncomfortable I felt, but I persisted and presented a complete, maybe subpar, but complete nonetheless, interpretation of my pigeon observation. I named the pigeon Harry, by the way, and I still see him around all the time. I have the cutest picture from my phone. I think I showed it in class one time. He's adorable. And these are my notes on people's animal observations. Mariah was a crow. She picked up her hat with her mouth. I believe that she was a crow. Morgan was a dog. I liked the use of the bowl of water. Tongue out, head back and forth like a dog. Angel was a dog. She was scratching her butt on a chair and used her tongue. Natalia was some kind of bird, and I wrote, it's the head for me. For Jonah, I wrote, I can't tell, but he's moving a lot. He was a fish. Maddie was a cat, and I liked her head action. Eli was some kind of dog, maybe? Looks like one of those Hunger Games dogs. Alright, October 28th. I'm obsessed with the catastrophe text. I wrote the story of a breakup that comes out of nowhere, and I feel like it's really powerful. I let a friend read it, and he asked if I was doing okay, which is funny, because I'm genuinely the happiest I've ever been in my life. Which is funny, because 2 days later I would go through a breakup very similar to the one I wrote about. Filming it was weird, though, because I couldn't feel like the girl in my story. It just felt ingenuine, and the pigeon motions felt awkward and out of place. I think I'm going to sit on it a while and try to do a few more takes before it's due on Sunday. Watching myself on video isn't nearly as jarring anymore, which either means I'm becoming a better actress or a less anxious person. I'm hoping for the first one, but the second one would also be really good, honestly. We did the observation assignment again, but with text this time, which was fun, but stressful, because the texts were these weird voicemail message things that felt foreign as any character. I think I did okay, though. Okay, these are notes from the second observation, that one with the voicemail messages. It was the two things that were working and one thing that was missing. So for Maddie, I said the accent was great, her word choices and physical actions were working, but one thing missing was not a lot of animal. For Morgan, I said she had great contrast and incredible physicality, but she was missing more realistic human behavior. For Mariah, I said she had great pigeon auditions and excellent pacing, but wish she could have had more contrast. Jonah had good fish movements and a lot of intensity, but I wish he had more physical intention. Natalia had great creative choices and really good pauses, but not a lot of animal. For Lynn, I have just numbers, so I guess she was just captivating me. For Bridget, I had said she had lots of animals, such a fun script, and but she was missing contrast. For Eli, I said he had good physicality and good movements, but adding words led to a panicky sound. Right. November 4th. This week has been a lot for me. Between getting dumped on Monday and the election Tuesday, I'm just desperately trying to come up for air. Corey let us out early because we were all so overwhelmed, and I was going to use the time to write and work, but everything is too heavy right now. Might take a nap instead. And I did take a nap, and it was the best use of my time that day. November 11th. Poor Schultz. I just feel so bad for the dude. I'm semi-familiar with circle mirror transformation, but I like to imagine the characters in the scene in a high school gym for some reason. Like they're getting ready for gym class and just had a dramatic high school breakup. I don't know why, but that just feels more true to me than the reality of the play. Also, in that Bethany scene, the one we say reminds us of a Disney Channel original movie, I am convinced that Bethany and Lissa were childhood best friends. It's one of those classic Disney tropes I can't shake in the situation, I guess. I really liked how he played around with different interpretations of who Michael is, as her dad, as a friend, etc. I love how changing who one character is can change the whole vibe of the scene. As I'm getting more into writing and directing, that'll be a good thing to remember, and a good thing to put into practice with my students one day. And here's my notes from that day. What would you do? Not how would you react, what would you do? At any moment, two characters might fight or fuck. You should use that and always be expecting that, and you should feel the play might end differently this time, every time you see a play. November 18th. I have never been more exhausted in my life. The Thanksgiving anticipation fatigue is hitting me like a ton of bricks, and I feel like I have no motivation at all. I've been fiddling around trying to find a good angle for the final monologue. It's part fill in the blank, but I just hate everything I've come up with. We worked some more on that circle mirror transformation scene that week, and I think it's so funny that even though Teresa and Schultz are full-grown adults in the play, out of context they read just like high schoolers or college kids. I guess that just goes to show that no one ever really grows up. Every time we read it, my heart just goes out to Schultz, because I know what it feels like to love inconsistent people. It's the worst kind of heartbreak, because it's on and off and slow and fleeting all at once. This will probably be my last entry before I record, so signing off, I guess. Thanks for helping me grow so much, Corey. Yes, and that is my crazy brain acting journal.